And we're back. This was an odd one.
Yeah. We just got See in Love and Mercy, which is a biopic about Brian Wilson, who is the leader, in essence, the leader of the Beach Boys. And this kind of...
Like, it was either this or Entourage, and I really didn't want to go see Entourage. So.
No, I want to see Entourage.
Because I was like, you know what? I didn't even know Entourage was a show until I saw the Honest trailer for it. So I was like, fucking hey, this is a show. Do you need to get that?
Nah.
Okay, go away.
It's just a text.
Alright. So I was like, fuck it, let's go watch this instead, because, you know, we need a good movie, because it's been a really rough fucking year. It's like, okay, hopefully this will be good. You liked it more than I did.
Yeah.
I have my own issues with it, because, like, what it is it's like 2 movies in one, basically. Although I felt like neither one was really fleshed out enough. That's kind of where my conclusion of this movie comes down to. Because half of the movie takes place in the past, where Brian Wilson is played by Paul Dano, who is an actor I really like. I've always liked Paul Dano. Like, before, like, I knew him from There Will Be Blood. So, I knew him right, like, at his peak. Everyone else knew him from, like, Cowboys and Aliens, and, like, 12 Years a Slave, where he just played a jerk. So,
oh, yeah, he was in 12 Years a Slave. I don't even remember him, Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, he was the Harrison Ford's son.
Oh, okay.
One who basically just acts like a dumb idiot for the entire movie.
Right.
He was kind of riding that shtick for a few years.
Yeah.
And now he's back, like, doing actual work in this movie. And you have John Cusack playing the older Brian Wilson. And here's my issue with it, and this is going to sound kind of weird, is I think it's been a lot better if the John Cusack storyline was cut out completely.
That's actually been the main concern from what I've heard from, like, other reviewers who said, like,
Really?
It wasn't that it was bad, but they just felt like compared to the Paul Dano sections, like, it was just nowhere near as
well. Paul Dano is, I'm sorry, I hate to say this, because I don't dislike John Cusack, but Paul Dano's just a better actor.
He was.
At this point. Like, this is like the indie version of Focus that we saw earlier this year, where he had Will Smith, who is the actor who's been in this industry for way too fucking long, is really tired and doesn't really want to try anymore, so he's kind of sleepwalking through the script. Meanwhile, you have the young, bright upstart working alongside them, who's giving him her all and is giving a really good performance, and it just pales in comparison.
Even then, it's like, I did feel like some things I saw in Cusack, like, I did like a little of the subtlety.
There was a little subtlety there. I'll give John Cusack credit. He did some things that I liked. I don't, like, hate his storyline. What I did hate is, ironically enough, this is the second movie with Paul Giamatti in it in 2 weeks, and I have hated him in both. So, like,
although from what I've heard this time, it's because he's supposed to play the sleazebag.
I felt like he overdid it. Like, I felt like this is, like, from the very beginning, like, like, it's like, okay, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I felt like he just played it way over the top and is way to that extreme. And, like, if this wasn't a true event, I would say, like, okay, you probably could have come out completely different, fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I find myself kind of, oddly enough, comparing this to Big Eyes a little bit, because, like, okay, Christopher Waltz played a sleazebag in that fucking movie, but he was still charming as fuck, and you believed him as a person.
Yeah.
I can't buy Paul Giamatti as a person, because he's playing like I said, he's just an arrogant douchebag for the entire movie, who occasionally just yells for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just felt way over the top. It completely killed it for me, because the movie doesn't no favors with, like, the heavy shadows and the camera angles that say, I am the villain, in bright neon letters behind him every scene he's in. I found myself rolling my eyes every time he popped on screen, like, fucking Jesus. And I don't hate Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
I don't hate her. I'm not a big fan of her either, because I've never seen a movie with Elizabeth Banks in it where I've thought, wow, she was really good. She's always been kind of meh. She's like Brendan Fraser, just meh.
So unlike Brendan Fraser, she makes better choices.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know, dude. G.I. Joe was real hit.
Oh, yeah.
He was the best part of that movie. I know, think about it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cobra Commander. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I liked the first G.I. Joe. It was dumb, but I liked it.
Yeah.
But anywho. But
it didn't have fair and balanced like the second one.
Fucking fair and balanced. I keep forgetting about that. The second one was actually, like, a legitimately decent action movie. But now we're talking about G.I. Joe. That's our review of G.I. Joe 1 and 2. But, like, even then, Elizabeth Banks' movie, it's not a bad performance from her, but it's not also, like, one I'm gonna remember in a couple weeks either. It just it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like she's there just to be the love interest. It's kind of... And oddly enough, takes away focus from Brian Wilson, who should be the focus of that particular part. Because look at it again. That whole future part is not about Brian Wilson. It's about Elizabeth Banks' character, Melinda.
Yeah. Well, the way I saw it, it's like she was kind of... It was weird. Like, it felt like she was kind of meant to be basically like our window.
I guess so, and I feel like
in terms of like that proxy character.
Yeah, but at the same time, that also kind of takes away from John Cusack being allowed to do anything meaningful with the role, because he's doing whisper acting the entire thing.
Yeah.
And that gets old after the first hour.
I was personally fine with it. Like, it kind of, I'm not sure what it was, just, I kind of like that little mentality it bring to it. Like, that idea that almost like he was trying to force himself to be at peace. And that was kind of just this weird duality to it.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't catch that too much. Like I said, there were hints of subtlety here, but a lot of it just kind of he's doing little winces and stuff like that. I felt like he wasn't giving it his all in his performance either.
Fair enough, yeah.
Like, I think the last movie of John Cusack in it that I liked was like 1408, and he gave that a lot, at least towards the very end of the movie.
You should watch Maps of the Stars. Like, obviously, not another one of his best ones, but that's another movie he does a good job of just kind of playing like this weird... He plays like an absolute psychopath. An ironic psychopath in that thing.
Yeah, but like, again, it comes back to like Will Smith was in Focus, where it's like he's doing what he thinks he knows, like he's done so many times that he doesn't really have anything new to add to it.
Yeah.
So he's just working off old tropes. He's not really trying. So, and that reflects itself in the performance.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Paul Dano, it did a fantastic job with the material.
Oh, yeah.
From beginning to end, he's charismatic, he's charming, but he also does the falling into schizophrenia thing very effectively.
Actually, it wasn't schizophrenia, though.
What did he actually have?
I can't remember what it was. They just... Well, at least it wasn't paranoid schizophrenia, anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't paranoid schizophrenia. It was some kind of schizophrenia, because he was hearing voices and shit. So, something along those lines. But yeah, like, I kind of just wanted the movie just to be about Paul Dano's portion of it, because I thought that was way more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, John Cusack's section was really just... A lot of it was really fucking boring. And I found myself kind of tuning out. Like, the relationship that you have... Like, first off, I never really got John Cusack and Elizabeth Banks' chemistry. I didn't think they really had that great chemistry on screen. Again, that's just my opinion. The relationship is really cliche for a movie that's aiming to be a drama piece. Like, even using the cliche camera angle, I don't know if you caught this too, I slightly rolled my eyes. Maybe I'm just becoming really cynical at this point in the year. But when they're staring each other's eyes, the camera pans over so the sunset is right in between them, and I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't even notice that one, actually. Probably should have, though.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we're going for this kind of sappy love story where love's going to fix everything. Granted, it didn't go quite deep into that territory.
Yeah.
Then it came into Paul Giamatti being way over the top. And I really like Paul Giamatti, so it makes me disappointed to say that.
Yeah.
I even liked him as the Rhino, so... I don't care what anybody says. But I've been doing most of the talking here, so what are some of your thoughts?
I definitely understand, like, some of your sentiments. Just me, because, like, I'm a huge Beach Boys fan, so it was, like, kind of interesting just to, you know, have him actually try to explore, like, the inner workings of his mind and just kind of make you better understand, like, what his thought processes were with the music, like, realize how layered it actually was. And the idea that, like, he was this guy that, like, he had a voice that wasn't being heard. And as you say, you know, just Paul Dano specifically, you know, did a fantastic job trying to, like, convey that. It was just interesting seeing, like, how meticulous, like, some of these things were, like, noticing just, like, the film types they use, the angles.
I thought that was a really nice touch. Yeah.
Like, at times where it felt like they were trying to have, like, a documentarian feel and like some more intimate moments, especially, like, between him and his father. Yeah,
those are all very good. I like that. No, I agree. Like, with the parts of Paul Dano, especially when he's working on the music, those scenes are great. Yeah. Like, where he's, like, talking to people in the studio, where he's working on them, he's being so meticulous, so specific, and kind of pissing everyone else off. I was also really annoyed that the past section had a kind of villain in it with the cousin. Yeah. That got on my nerves.
No, I saw it more as the father, actually, because it's like the...
I mean, the father was like the obvious bad guy, but he was the bad father trope, so I didn't bother me too much.
For me, it's like I felt like the cousin really was trying to, you know, what he was doing was for, like, the best of the band and whatnot.
But he's antagonistic from the first line he has. He's antagonistic. So, like, and that gets old, because we don't see any redeeming quality to his character. We see someone who just spends the entire movie yelling at Brian Wilson.
Oh, except for when they did, Good Vibrations.
No, it was Good Vibrations.
Okay.
Yeah, like when he's doing he's like finding the beat on the piano. Yeah, like, but even then, that only lasts for a couple minutes, and then he's like right back to yelling at him for this or that, even though he's clearly not well towards the end of the movie. He's still yelling at him.
Yeah, that part actually did kind of annoy the crap out of me.
Because I'm like, dude, he's clearly not well.
Yeah, I was like,
get him a doctor.
Yeah, I was like, no one's concerned that he thinks Phil Spector bugged his house.
Yeah, like, because at this point in the movie, he's complete, like, he's losing it.
Unless they thought he was just on drugs, which, given...
Impossible, yeah.
Which was kind of true from what I've heard.
Yeah, but it's like, but at that point, they were yelling, the guy's still fucking yelling at him for this or that, and they just go on and on and on, and it's like, Jesus Christ, can we stop for a second and get to the root of the problem? Because the whole movie is, it randomly intercuts between John Cusack's feature role as a Brian Wilson, who's starting a relationship with Melinda. It was Melinda?
Yeah.
Who is played by Elizabeth Banks. Now, Brian Wilson, at this point in his life, has a full-time psychiatrist named, was it Eugene?
Yeah.
They called him, what they call him?
I can't remember what I just remember it was like Eugene, that's all.
Yeah. Eugene, who is played by Paul Giamatti, who is like the obvious, so completely obvious bad guy, who's clearly just manipulating Brian Wilson to produce music for him and try to get money out of it and yada, yada, yada. So there's the whole struggle there. Meanwhile,
it felt like, when I thought about it, I felt like he was kind of like, I'm not sure how much they made his character more about the money. It's more like he had this delusional fantasy of wanting to be Brian Wilson.
If they did, that didn't come through very well. Because he was more focused on himself than he was about how he wanted to be Brian Wilson. At least that's kind of what I got out of it. Because he never says, oh, I want to make music like you. He says, okay, here are the things I've done. Here's elements things I've written. Here's everything that I know about this, everything I know about you. And even then, he doesn't say make great music. He says produce something, god damn it. You might as well have been a line in the movie, for as unsubtle as it was.
I'm pretty sure I actually did say that at some point.
He probably did.
During that part where they found him just like completely drugged out of his mind and he was by the piano.
Yeah, like again, I feel like in better hands, this would have been a much better movie.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, the other problem I noticed in the movie is that the past story and the future story have very few parallels to make it, to justify why these stories need to be told interconnectively.
I think it was more about I think they were kind of doing, like, the whole switching off for a rhythmic feeling of, like, success, failure, the way they're kind of branching out.
Possibly, but it felt kind of disjointing, because, like, I don't know if, like, I got some of the metaphors they were using. That was pretty heavy-handed, especially towards the end where it goes all artsy-fartsy, and I feel like the director wasn't good enough to pull it off. I think that's kind of what the issue I have with this movie is. I feel like this movie's trying to be artistic, it's trying to be really deep, but I think the director of this movie only made one other movie that nobody's even heard of.
Something like that. They said he did more producing of big movies than, like, directing anything.
But there's some weird, just artistic shots that just come out of nowhere. They serve no real purpose, and it's like at some points where it's like, I don't know why you're doing this, other than just the fact you're trying to seem deeper than you actually are.
Yeah.
Like that, especially, like, there's a part at the beginning, which is really weird, and it never comes back up again, where the screen is just blank for 5 solid minutes. And then we get, like, an image of a mouth or ear or something like that, and it cuts to the next scene. Never brought up again. Nothing's ever done with it.
Oh, that was just the idea of just, like, everything was kind of swimming on through his head, like, trying to get out. Like, he was trying to scream, almost like he was trying to scream.
Well, that was done much better in other scenes, like where he's in the pool and he's underwater and he's voices in his head. I thought that was much more effective because I'm seeing what's going on, and I know enough about the character at that point that, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
At this point, though, we have no context. We have no clues. So he's just sitting there, the screen just blank. I was honestly wondering if the projector broke.
Yeah. Well, it's also just because wasn't he also mentioning the idea of, like, he had the he was trying, because he did talk about it kind of just the idea of, like, trying to get it out there. Like, that other thing was, like, fully, like, together, but it was just the idea of, like, something becoming clear over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get, like I said, maybe it's just me being too harsh. I don't know if I'm just being, like, that much of an asshole, but, it's me, so it's possible. But
some of the complaints are definitely, understandable, though.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, a lot of people kind of bring in the John Cusack stuff, I did feel like the movie needed to get trimmed.
Yeah, there's definitely some padding here you could have cut. Yeah. We did not need to be 2 hours.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say about Insidious and Poltergeist. They're at least mercifully short.
Well, they're horror movies. That's kind of tradition.
Thank God.
I know, right? Only, like, good movies are, like, have the balls to go for 2 hour length time.
Well, 2 hours seems to be the standard now, for the most part.
Does it really for horror movies?
No, I mean, just for movies in general.
Yeah, it's closer to like hour 45, 2 hours, give or take. I mean, like, a lot of the blockbusters feel need to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
God help us. Blockbuster season's here. This is gonna be fun.
Please don't suck Jurassic World.
It's gonna suck. I'm sorry, man.
As my friend said, as long as it's not as bad as number 2 and 3, I think we can call it a success.
I actually kind of like number 3.
Yep. 3 was dumb fun.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't hate it either. At least it didn't try to get all, like, philosophical and shit on me.
Like the second one, which it was less
Preachy.
philosophical, more hypocritical.
Yeah. No, this dinosaur's going to eat people. We gotta protect them. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Man is dangerous. We are man. Let's hurt man. We're hurting ourselves and our arguments.
That was a metaphor for life right there. Just stop talking. You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like we should make like a motivation poster for movies. It's just like, just stop talking. We get the point. Silence movie. I can't really think of anything else to talk about. I mean, like,
yeah.
like I said, I feel like either this movie needed to be trimmed in general, but I feel like they should have picked one storyline and expanded that all the way through. Like, if you want to go the Paul Dano route, go the Paul Dano route. If you want to go the John Cusack route, go that route. Yeah. I don't feel like these stories have enough in common to tell at the same time.
Well, for me, I think the issue is like, when I think about it, it would have felt kind of incomplete because
I disagree.
Because Brian Wilson, for the most part, had a very troubled life, and the idea it's like we just end in the middle of his troubles is just like it.
Well, then tell a story sequentially. Then,
yeah,
like that's the alternative then. But don't intercut them because it's too distracting. Yeah. And if it usually ends up me picking a storyline I like better, and waiting for those parts.
That's things like the more I think about it, it's like the idea of like we do it sequentially. It just would have had that weird kind of lopsided rhythm to it. It's like but shit, getting better. It's just like it needs that rhythm of high and lows, and without it, it would have felt even more lopsided, I think.
Maybe, I don't know. Personally, I think it's just the performances on one side weren't as strong as the performance on the other side.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the movie's big downfall. Now,
fair enough. Yeah.
If both sides were like had equal good talent behind it, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, it's kind of like Return of the King, you know, where you're like, okay, I get it, they're climbing up a fucking mountain. Oh, cool, Aragorn. You know, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Go ship, yay!
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what it is, though. It's like you gotta pick and choose. You gotta it has to be strong, or your movie's just gonna fall flat.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like Return of the King, even like the boring shit was still acted well enough and still played it out well enough that you can sit through and still be entertained.
Yeah.
Is not the case here. I mean, I know it's really weird to compare a biopic of Brian Wilson to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I pretty much said all I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not really. It's like I think, you know, even though we're kind of disagreeing on like our overall quality, we did, you know, agree on a few things, you know, obviously in terms of like length and which side was the more interesting of stories.
Yeah. So I guess, like, that's... We also don't disagree on much.
It's not my favorite movie this year. Like, but like, I thought it was decent enough, and, like, part of it might have been just, like, one, I need to see something that was good, and two, I'm a big fan of the Beach Boys, so...
Yeah, I'm not. So maybe that's more where it's coming from that angle. So I'm not a big Beach Boys fan. I like their music. I just want to call myself, like, oh my god, it's the Beach Boys, you know?
Yeah.
My dad liked him, though. But yeah, so I think that's really all I have to say about that. So, trailers.
Wasn't that first one? Was
we
like
got Infinity Polar Bear.
There we go. A lot of the trailers, for the most part, looked pretty good, except for that one. Was it Youth and Revolt? Was it Youth and Revolt? Or Youth and something or other? We'll get to that one eventually.
Okay, let's see what I got here.
The one where...
I got Infinity Polar Bear was the first one.
Yeah, okay. Testament of Truth, that's what it was. I thought there was a fourth trailer.
That's the only one I got, so...
Okay. Infinity Polar Bear.
I think we got this one. We saw Aloha.
That was the first time I saw it.
Yeah, it's like one of those trailers that only plays in the movie theaters that play the indie movies, so makes sense it would pop up here.
Yeah.
So this is the one with
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. I was gonna say Mark Wahlberg. It's like, no, that's not right.
No, he's an Entourage.
Is he? Yeah. Oh, I forgot he's an Entourage.
Yeah. Well, he's a producer of the show, I think.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, because he said Entourage was loosely based on his life or something like that, or like earlier parts of it.
Okay, apparently Mark Wahlberg went on a pussy raid when he was a kid, but
Sadly, given the stuff I've heard, I wouldn't be surprised.
no, neither do I. I mean, he did do jail time, so maybe he's just that kind of guy. And I like Mark. I like Mark.
No, he admitted he was not a good person when he was younger.
Yeah.
He seems like a much better guy now.
We like him now, Marky. We like Marky Mark. Even in Pain and Gain, I like Marky Mark. But
We still like The Rock more.
The Rock is amazing. All right, The Rock can do anything at this point. I will forgive him for it. Like that's where he's at.
Even San Andreas.
Even San Andreas. Like,
well, that wasn't the worst thing he's been in. I think technically the worst thing he's been in was Doom.
No, dude, you're forgetting the worst one, or the best one, depending on your viewpoint. The Tooth Fairy.
Never saw it, but I forgot about that. So yeah, that could theoretically have been worse.
Yeah, so I remember saw a clip from him having wings, and it's kind of adorable. Or Journey 2. And he also did Journey 2.
Another one I didn't see, thank God.
Which was also made by the same guy who made San Andreas. So, go figure on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I learned that when I was on set, and I never got used. I was like, oh.
Hey, Joseph came with me. He couldn't find himself either. So. Because we were looking. Well, he was looking. I was more like, oh, this is so stupid.
No, I wasn't in that one. So.
Oh, you weren't in that one?
No, I was there on set, but I wasn't actually filmed.
Oh, okay. Were you in the Chinatown thing?
No, I was supposed to be like near I think we were supposed to be at the harbor when it floods or something like that.
Oh, that's stupid. That was such a dumb scene. Such a dumb scene.
Supposedly, I think we were supposed to be like the guys leaving on the city on the boat, and then that's when we basically...
Yeah, it's ridiculous, because, The Rock... I forgot to mention the San Andreas review. I know this because one of my commenters likes to tell me the things I forgot to talk about, and this is his for this one, because you forgot to talk about the part where The Rock rode his boat in a vertical line up the tsunami, while simultaneously dodging the cargo ship coming towards him.
It worked in the perfect storm! No it didn't. What? Ah! Anyway, so... sorry, trailers.
So... That's a review of San Andreas, or Infinity Polar Bear. It looks like a decent indie movie.
Yeah, it looked fun.
I mean, I've yet to see a movie that has Mark Ruffalo in it where I have not liked him in it. So
yeah.
So
well, no. Now you see me.
Even then, he wasn't that bad. It was a bad movie, but he wasn't that bad in it.
Yeah, it wasn't him. It was the character I hated.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, the whole twist in the end made no sense. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But then we got Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Yeah, now that I finally saw the trailer for that, I actually really want to see that now.
Oh, by the way, I gotta make a correction to myself on this one, because I made this mistake when we talked about this last time in the Aloha review. I said that the main character in this movie was the guy who played the computer guy in Dread. I was wrong. It's not the same guy. I realized this. I was like, fuck, now I gotta call myself out on it so someone else does.
Yeah.
The one piece of person that pays attention to that little detail and gets angry and text messages me. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks like based on what I've heard, what Fault in Our Stars should have been.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? You remember that movie that had Jack Black in it years ago, but the movie videotapes?
Oh, Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, Be Kind Rewind. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. It has like similar vibe to it.
A little bit. Well, just in the way they do the movies thing, yeah.
I mean, the atmosphere-wise, and the atmosphere in the movie-wise, it kind of has that same feel to it. Obviously, the plots are very, very different, but like contextually, like atmospheric. Yeah. The tone feels very much the same. Granted, I saw the movie fucking years ago, so I have no idea if that's still the case.
That was another one I thought was really underrated.
Even then, even when I was a kid, I watched it on the airplane, so I don't know what they took out.
Yeah.
But I remember I liked it. They kept the blackface in the movie, in the airplane version. Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't think they edited that movie, probably, because it was PG-13.
Yeah, that movie has blackface.
Yeah, no, there was a point to that one, though, I thought. So I was like, okay, and like, the movie basically just straight up acknowledges how messed up it was by having...
True.
Because didn't he, like, do it in front of, like, all, like, his black friends?
Yeah, and everyone's like, dude.
Yeah.
No, not okay.
It was just... Yeah.
And the last trailer we got was... I don't even remember this one. Testament of Truth. Which one was this one?
That was the one with Keira Knightley and Kit Harington, except...
Was that Keira Knightley?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't think it was Keira Knightley.
Wait, was it Keira? I mean...
Oh, the one that looked like Pride and Prejudice, but with war.
I was thinking... yeah, I was thinking of the one who, wasn't that... Oh, damn it. No, wasn't that the one who did, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Because I thought it was her.
I'm pretty sure Keira Knightley was on the movie. She would have been much more prominent in the trailer if she was.
Fair enough. But yeah, it was also funny just seeing how Kit Harington didn't look like Kit Harington for the most part.
Which one's Kit Harington? I'm drawing a blank.
Jon Snow.
Oh, right, duh. Okay,
yeah. Remember, that's why I made that crack.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, why are we talking about Game of Thrones right now? I thought it was kind of weird.
he was the guy that had the slick back hair. The one that she...
down.
Sorry, she was the one that she was clearly having a relationship brewing with.
Oh, okay, yeah, that guy. All right, the one who's going to inevitably die.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's weird because you always see him with long hair.
That's true. Yeah.
And so when he actually has a haircut and slicks back, it's like... Also the fact he's... Well, no, he's clean shaven. It's a crappy Silent Hill movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Silent Hill Revelations. I hate that piece of crap. I don't want to talk about that.
No, let it out, Grant. This is therapeutic for you. You have some pent-up anger. You gotta get out of here.
Oh, I thought we already took care of that.
Point.
Seriously, though, Silent Hill Revelations sucked.
I finally caught up on Game of Thrones like last night. I was like, shit, I missed some stuff.
Oh yeah, episode 8.
Yeah.
I was like,
dude, it's Darth Maul.
Yeah, wasn't it? People said, holy crap, winter came. Yeah, winter is here, and apparently so are the dragons.
I think I was jerking around like on Twitter because I started using Twitter again. I realized I was like kind of curious, so I got on Twitter for a little bit, and I was like, okay, I started replying back stuff, and I realized I immediately became a snarky asshole within seconds, and I spent the rest of the night contemplating how much of a monster I am.
Sounds like Twitter. Yeah. So, anyway, that shows how little we care about that trailer, because it looked like it was an over-schmaltzy, melodramatic war movie.
I mean, it looks like fucking Pride and Prejudice.
I was also thinking...
who made that? Like, who wrote that book? It's like one of her movies.
I was thinking it also looked like a little bit of Atonement in some regards.
I never saw Atonement, so I know...
Neither did I. Just like the trailer, like I kind of got that same vibe.
Yeah,
but somehow it just seems really over the top.
But even then, it's like the trailer tells you the entire movie.
Yeah.
So I look at it, it's like, oh,
brother goes to war, boyfriend goes to war. I'm pretty sure they're all gonna die.
And then she becomes a nurse in war, and she does some wars, and then she's anti-war, and then it's like, you told me the entire fucking movie in your 3-minute trailer.
Yeah.
Thank you, I guess. It means I don't have to go watch you now. I take it back. They did a Terminator. I still gotta see that one. So... Terminator will just tell you fucking everything.
Yeah.
Which they've been doing, like, in every movie since the second one. Like, the trailers tell you fucking everything that happens.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I read an article point this out. Terminator 4 probably wouldn't have been as bad
if the twist didn't get revealed.
If the twist wasn't in every goddamn trailer.
It's kind of the same thing with that crappy, Vantage Point movie?
Which one was that one?
That was one where, like, there was an supposed assassination going on from different points of view.
I vaguely remember that.
And then, supposedly, the twist is that they didn't actually kill the president, they killed a double, and they revealed that in the trailer. Spoil! No, it's not a spoiler. The trailer trailer spoiled it, I don't care, it doesn't count.
They should have done it with The Loft. Would have saved us an hour and a half.
Yeah, even though I remember I was, like, half right about that one.
Maybe.
I was right.
That was such a long time ago.
Where I knew that Wentworth Miller was... No. That's what it was. Like, when I saw the trailer, I guessed it, and then the movie did things that made no sense that completely contradicted it.
Okay, yeah. That was such a bad movie. I completely forgot about that until I just mentioned it just now. Yeah. It's like, oh man, that movie was bad. That was back in January.
Yeah.
Fucking wait, we've come a long way this year. We're survivors.
This year sucked.
Yeah. Hopefully next year will be better.
I hope.
Or at least like
here's the thing.
Award season. I
can't even make a top 10 list with all good movies so far. I'm
hoping for like August onward.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the good movies because that's award season, of course. Because that's like Oscar bation season. So that's gonna be.
And then July comes where we get like the good blockbusters like will hopefully like Ant-Man and Mission Impossible.
I'm looking forward to Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man's gonna be good.
I think so. Like, the second trailer gave me a bit more hope for it.
Yeah, like, this one of those movies, I was skeptical like everyone else, but the more I see of it, the more I'm intrigued by it. Because even, like, as a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, it has its own style.
Yeah.
It has its own flair.
Yeah, it seems pretty fun.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, we'll see what happens in Jurassic World and Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Big Plan. I think it's called, like, Big Plan or Big Plane or something like that.
Oh, the one with Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson. Have you seen the trailer for that?
I have not.
It looks amazing.
What was the other one you said I need to watch?
Point Break.
Right, I didn't even realize you released the trailer for the remake.
Oh my god. You need to watch that trailer. It is amazing. Because, like, you know what? I didn't realize that this movie, I completely forgot about this 90 piece of crap movie, Point Break.
Yeah.
And apparently decided, hey, we're gonna take this really dumb surfer movie from the 90s and give it a gritty reboot.
Oh dear God, no.
So it's like being a surfer version of The Dark Knight. I am not fucking kidding. There's actually a line, I made this joke with Joseph, so I apologize to those who've watched that review. But basically there's a scene where they have the main character's name, Ohio, consulting with the FBI or the CIA or some kind of government agency, and he stands up all dramatically, he's wearing a black suit, and he goes, he has his hair slicked back, and I'm adding sunglasses for dramatic effect. So, actually, I'm just gonna...
I don't even know who's in that movie or who's, like, did anything for it.
See, I'm just gonna put these on for dramatic effect. So, he walks up there, he goes, "Gentlemen, this theft was not held by a normal person. He was also an extreme sportsman." I'm not kidding. That's not the exact line, but that's basically what it is. They use this phrase, extreme sportsman. And it's not a comedy. It's meant to be a straight-up thriller. There's even a scene where he's with the bad guy, and he goes, "You've been using our gifts in the wrong way," something like that, and the villain has some dramatic bullshit speech, and he flies backwards off a cliff. It's so stupid. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh dear.
I'm having drinks before I see that movie.
I just realized this car's been on the entire time. You're almost at... Oh, that's half tank.
I got half tank, I'm fine.
Never mind.
This thing's got good gas mileage. So, that's why I can make so many fucking trips up here.
Yeah.
I only have to change my gas like once a week, once every week and a half.
Lucky son of a gun.
I know. This old baby's been good to me. You know what? I don't crash it. My insurance is gonna be a bitch, though.
Yeah.
So yeah. You got anything else for this?
Not really.
Okay, so I think we've kind of rambled on long enough. So
Yeah.
thank you all for watching. I think we got Spy, which Matthew and Joseph want to see. So we'll
I have already seen it, so I got my...
You're welcome to come. You're like join us after we see the movie if you want.
Yeah, I'll... Well, if I'm not in Fremont, yeah.
If you're not in Fremont, yeah, sure. And then we got Insidious Chapter 3, which you've also already seen.
Yeah. I needed to distract myself from life.
Well, you said that gets stupid funny towards the end, right?
Oh my God, does it ever!
So I'm actually, like, legitimately excited about that now. Because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to get a few beers before we get this. Let's do this. This is going to be fun.
Oh, like, I was just... All I'm going to say is in the last half hour, I was laughing my head off.
That was like the way the second movie was. That was the same way where, like, that was the first movie I brought Lewis to.
Yeah.
And we sat there and I was laughing my head off. Apparently Lewis has no horror tolerance because he was like, I'm sitting there going, ha, 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 this is so fucking stupid.
All right, well...
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah,
so,
we'll let you guys go.
yeah, see you guys later.